So you went to college.
Yeah,
Why did you want to go to college?
you know, I can't figure it out because they had no grants back then.
Mm.
They had no loans. You either had money to pay or you didn't go. And my parents never made minimum wage. I think what happened was I was in the seventh grade, and Mr. Temple was my high school principal. My class, my seventh grade class, we had 30 kids, and some of them were twice as old as I was. And he took 12 of us in a school bus over to Southern University in Baton Rouge. Took us on a Friday, and we stayed in the old Army barracks. And and I don't know why he picked 12 of us. And when I got in the Army barracks, I had a cot. First time I ever been in a bed by myself in my life. Before that, all four of my brothers, we slept together in the same little bed. At Southern, they had two cafeterias, and I thought they were restaurants. I'd never been in a restaurant. We ate our meals there from Friday through Monday. We went to class Friday with the college students. Went to a pep rally that Friday night. Next Saturday, we went to a football game versus Florida A&M. I never will forget it. Saw the great bands. I saw the kids dressed with proper clothing. I never had proper clothing before. I went home and I told my mama, I'm going to Southern University when I finish high school. I almost cry when I think about that all the time. She cried. She said, we don't have any money. We can't send you to Southern. We're going to get you through high school, though, baby. That's why I don't care if you have money. I'm going. And so there was a white guy by the name of Mr. Cecil Pittman. He had a dairy. And he asked my mother, could I help him milk cows every morning before school and after school? And she said yes. I started off making I got up at 4 o'clock every morning. I walked to the barn, helped him milk, walked back home, got ready, caught the bus to school, did the same thing in the evening. He paid me $60 a month. I saved every penny of my $60. I finally got up to $100 before I finished school. I saved every penny from the 7th grade through the 12th grade. And when I went to Southern, I had enough to pay for my schooling for 4 years.
Wow.
And I have a sister that's 2 years younger than I am. I paid for her first 2 years.
Wow.
And then I was broke, after that. And so now, I think to answer your question, I think the reason I went was I had the opportunity to see a university and see what folks did at a university. And I said, that's where I'm going.
Hmm. Wow. I'm still on this. You milk cows and saved up enough
All my
money to
life.
go to school.
Oh, yeah.
Nowadays, it's like that's not even nearly possible to do that. To have a little part-time job and then pay for 4 years of school.
Well, it is possible. But kids have other values now. I never had a car. Most of my buddies that worked, it wasn't unusual for kids working when I was going to school, but they'd buy a raggedy car. They would buy stereos. And I didn't buy that kind of junk. I
So
said,
you
I
didn't
know
have
what I want to do.
you didn't have a car coming up.
Well, I never had a car until I was working for Shell Oil Company after I graduated.
So you walked
I
everywhere.
walked everywhere. I called a ride. I even rode the Greyhound bus to Southern University. And so why I did that, I don't know.
Did what you had to do.
Huh?
So you did what
But
you had to do.
I found out, most people think I've been in the military. My life is structured. I figure out what I want to do, and can't nobody take me off
Why do they think you've been in the military?
because I'm structured. If I go to the gym and work out,
Uh-huh.
I put the weight back where I got them from rather than leaving them all over the place. I don't know why I'm that way.
There's nothing wrong with it. That's good.
Well, I mean, most people are not structured like that, though.
So what did you study at Southern?
I double majored. I wanted to become a social studies teacher because my mother told me I need to become a professor. She couldn't pronounce professor. She called it a fessor. You're going to be a fessor. And so I was going to major in social studies. They may have had political science back then, but all I knew was social studies. And Dr. Lawless, that will forget, he said, You don't want to major in social studies. You have to be a football coach to be a social studies. He said, why don't you major in mathematics? Your math scores are pretty good. And I said, oh, okay. Whatever somebody told me, that's what I did. And I said, I like math too, so I'm going to major in math also. So I did that. And my mother cried again because she said, you'll never get a job in business and mathematics. You got to be a professor. And I said, oh my God, I'm going to have a 4-year degree with no job. But Dr. Lawson, those people knew, you know, that what the law's progression was going to be, that eventually industry was going to start hiring all folks. And as soon as I came out, I had like 12 job offers.
That's good.
I mean,
it was really good.
During the time of affirmative action. So
what year was this you graduated from Southern?
1968.
And I also recall you telling a story about you had a very high-profile guest come to one of your graduations. Was it high school or was
high
it college?
school. Yeah, high school. Oh, I'll tell you about it again. Again, this was all black environment. There was one white guy in the audience. He had a cowboy hat on, big guy. I said, I wonder who's that? And about halfway, almost through the end of graduation, the principal called this guy to the stage. His name was Russell B. Long. He was a senator from Louisiana, U.S. senator. And what I had done when I received my graduation invitations for high school, I said, I'm not going to send my invitation to any of my family members. They don't have any money. They can't give me anything, nor can they get to my graduation. They don't have a car. So I said, I'm going to send them. And that Sunday, in the Time-Picayune, there was a list of all of the Louisiana delegations, congressional delegations, addresses in the newspaper. I said, oh, I'm going to send my invitation to those guys. You know, they're the guys that make all the laws, and they can do more for me than anybody else. And so Russell Long came. The rest of them said they couldn't come, but Russell Long came. And Russell Long had foresight. He knew the Voting Rights Act was going to change too. So he started politicking way before it passed. And so he came and presented me with a waiver of in-state tuition. And he presented it. And folks said, how did you know to do that? I said, I didn't. That's the only thing I knew to do was to do something outside of the box.
So you took a chance.
I took a chance.
And then he gave you a tuition waiver. Wow, that's pretty good, huh?
So I didn't know that was going to happen. I said, I might as well try it.
Was he surprised to meet you? Was he surprised that you sent it to him to begin with? Or did he already understand that this was a all-black school?
Oh, he understood. Well, every school in Louisiana was all black, all white then. So he knew what the school was. He didn't act surprised. At least I didn't see it. I thought I was in trouble. I thought they came to arrest me.
Uh-oh.
And my principal and everybody was shocked that I did that because black schools didn't have school counselors. We didn't have school counselors back then. I knew none of that stuff.
I see.
So I just made a decision to do something outside the box.
What did your parents say about that? About you inviting the senator?
They never said. They just congratulated me afterwards because they felt proud, that I was recognized, and they didn't express any fear at all.
That's good.
The other students said, how do you know to do that? And I said, I don't know how I knew. I just
took a chance. Took a chance.
Yeah. You read books, you find out how other folks took chances. I remember Booker T. Washington walked all the way to Hampton. Didn't have no money, but he was able to get into school. So.
Okay. So after you graduated from Southern University, what did you do then?
I went to work for Shell Oil Company.
So why Shell Oil Company? Were you recruited as one of the companies that offered you the position? And why that one?
Kind of odd. They didn't have computer science curriculums back in those days. They took mathematics majors and made computer programmers out of those individuals. And I was advised, by folks at Southern, man, computer science is going to be a hot area. You need to take that job. That's a great opportunity. And I took it based up on them offering me a job in computer science. All the other folks were offering me jobs in like finance, public relations, that kind of stuff, advertising, marketing, as they would call it.
Right. So what specifically did you do at the company?
Well, initially when I started off, I was the programmer assigned to the human resources department. I did all of the payroll programming, all of the benefits programming, anything dealing with human resources. I wrote the programs, for it. And the vice president of HR took a liking to me, and he had me moved from a programmer to a human resources manager. So that's how I got over into the human resources. I only programmed for, I think, 2 years, and then went into the real human resources.
So you stayed there for about 30 years or so?
30 years.
And somewhere along the way, you made your way to Texas, correct?
Yeah. I spent most of my shell career, in Texas, in Houston. But I spent some time in New York, time in California, time in Louisiana. But probably 25 years of my 30 years, was right here in Houston.
Right, that's good.
Yeah.
And where along your journey did you meet your wife?
At Southern. Everything good happened to me happened at Southern.
At Southern. So she was studying the same thing you were, or
No.
No?
She was in elementary education.
Okay.
And I met her, I think it was 1966, it may have been 67. And then we got married in 1968.
Okay. So you weren't engaged for very long at all.
Yeah, we got engaged. I think it was in 67 that we got engaged, like December of 67. I graduated in May of 68.
That was
Yeah.
fast. Met her in 66, engaged in 67, and married in 68.
Yeah.
How did you know she was the one?
I tell you, I can't figure it out. She can't either. We just automatically knew. And I wanted to marry her, but I didn't want to marry her until 1969. But I wanted to work a year and get some money. I didn't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, it's now or never.
Oh, that was.
And I said, well, just tell me where to show up at, because I don't have nothing.
And that's how it happened, huh?
I rode the bus back home to Louisiana to get married.
Mm-hmm.
And we rode the bus, Greyhound bus, from the marriage site back to Houston.
That's all right. That's love there.
Oh, yeah.
Through thick and thin, huh?
We had nothing.
So been married 51 years
50,
almost?
yeah. 68, 51 years in August this year.
So what is the secret to a 50-year marriage?
You have to know how to make the main thing and not to worry about things that are not the main things. She felt I worked too much, and I told her I was going to work, so she left me alone. She doesn't like people and outside stuff, so I never bother her about going to stuff that I like, because I know she's not comfortable with that. So we just stayed within each comfort level, and she didn't try to force me to do anything that she knew I didn't like to do, and I didn't try to force her to do anything.
Okay, that reminds me, you two remind me of President Carter and his wife, because he was saying that, Rosa and I have learned to accommodate each other.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he said.
Oh, yeah.
And that they give each other space. So it sounds like I just thought of that when you were mentioning about you and your wife.
Yeah. I like new stuff. I like getting into stuff I don't know how to do. She doesn't like that. And, like being involved in an organization. She doesn't like that. But it doesn't bother me that she doesn't like that. It used to bother her that I like that, but now she's accepted that, hey, that's what he's going to be. And I'm going to do whatever I can to make him happy doing that.
That's good.
But otherwise, you have to get a divorce.
Well, that's true. There's been a lot of that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's been a lot of that.
Yeah.
So in '98, when you retired from Shell, you started on another career. Is that correct? And what exactly was that?
I promised my mama that I was going to become a school teacher before I die. And I did. I left Shell and became a special ed teacher. And I spent 11 or 12 years in education as a teacher, assistant principal, and director of human resources, and then later on the Aldine ISD School Board.
Wow, that's...
And along the way too, which was real strange, Shell had an educational reimbursement plan. So I started preparing myself to become a teacher while I was still working at Shell, taking classes at night. And I was able to get my special ed degree and certification, school counseling certification, and a master's in that, ed leadership, because I knew I'd probably end up being a principal or something, so I got that.
So these
and
are two
and my
master's degrees?
I have well, I really have 3 masters. I have an MBA too. I got an MBA while I was to complement my business background at Shell.
Mm-hmm.
So after my MBA, I went into counseling, well, special ed and then counseling, then a principal, and then a doctorate in education.
Wow.
Yeah.
From what institution?
Well, my doctorate is from Sam Houston, and my MBA is from U of H. I have 1 master's from Texas Southern and 1 from Houston Baptist.
Wow, 3 masters and a doctorate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shell paid for it. I said, why not? I took a class every semester.
Mm.
And after you take a class every semester for 20 years, you can get a lot of degrees.
Are you still going to school?
Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely.
This semester?
Yeah.
What are you taking now?
I decided I always wanted to play guitar.
Oh,
So I'm taking guitar lessons
that's right.
at Lone Star.
So you're a Lone Star College student?
Yeah, I'm going to get an associate's in music.
Really?
Yeah.
From what campus now?
Well, so far it's been at UP because it's closer to home.
Okay. We'll forgive that.
Okay,
But
yeah.
just know you're always welcome here at Tomball.
I will. Well, I will. Yeah.
We would love to have
I
you across
enjoy
the
learning.
stage.
I like learning new stuff. I do nothing.
Mhm.
I was taking music with students at 18 and 19 years old that played in the school band. They laughed at me because I didn't know what a B flat was, or that's it. I don't know.
So how does it feel going back to school at,
73, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I have no problem with it. I love it.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Bye.
We have students who are in their late 20s and 30s. Sometimes they feel out of place.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's not strange to see someone their age in the classroom. When I first started teaching, I had someone who was 50 years old in my class. And they were old enough to be my parent. But we always had a respectful relationship. They always respected me, and I never called them by their first name.
Yeah.
But I always, always respected them too.
Well, when I went to Sam Houston for my doctorate, I was older than everybody, including the professors.
Mm-hmm.
I was the oldest thing there.
That's okay, though. So what was your dissertation about?
Well, I looked at, I always wondered whether students in property-rich schools, whether their test scores were higher or lower than those that did not go to schools in property-rich areas.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what the finding that was unusual? Students from property-poor schools in rural areas scored higher than students that were in property-rich schools.
Really?
But it's not the same though in urban areas. It's just the opposite. Folks that are that are poor, they normally score lower. In the rural area, they score higher.
Mm.
And I did a correlational study, so cause and effect was not part of my study.
Okay.
But I assume that the cause of that is when people are more serious, there's less distractions in rural areas than there are in urban areas. You don't have to worry about crime and all this kind of stuff in the rural areas. So you spend your time concentrating on what's important.
I can see
And
that.
parents there are more 2-family homes in rural areas too compared to urban areas.
Hmm.
A lot of the students in urban areas, they either have a mama or a dad. They don't have both of them typically. And folks are more interested in trying to struggle to make a living.
So maybe if someone's who watching this is going to get their EDD in education, maybe they could do a follow-up to your study and see what the cause and effect are. That would be a great compliment.
Yeah.